What's up, assholes? Welcome back to the Call to Action podcast. I am James.
What's up, guys? I'm Danny.
Hey.
And we're live.
And this is where everyone introduces themselves.
Everybody take their turn. All right. Hey, guys.
Everybody got to try.
Your friendly face Dylan is back, ready to talk more Collision because 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 was not enough. We're here for more. Let's go.
Hey y'all, it's Danielle. I'm excited to talk about Collision. There's a lot to talk about. I'm pumped.
Hey, it's Melissa.
There you go. Everyone's finally introduced.
Hooray! We got this right.
And we can talk about
I don't know if we did.
both one of the best and saddest events of the year.
Yeah.
It's a lot to take in. Before we get into the general breakdown of Schmoedown Collision 3, broad sense, what did you guys think about the whole event?
I loved it. I thought it was it felt more intense than any other collision, than any of the other collisions before. It seemed like some of the stakes were a little bit higher. I just really enjoyed all of the matches. They're with competitors that I love. It was really cool to see everything put together production-wise. Like, all of the promos that they did for this event were fucking gorgeous. I loved it.
Mm-hmm. Overall thoughts, other than that, it was the most exhausting Collision I've ever watched. Never in my life have I been that inebriated on stream. If you want more of my coherent and incoherent thoughts, go watch our reaction episode. You get a lot of it. Other than that, it was an emotional roller coaster through and through. Like, oh man, the Intergeekdom match was just so high and so low and so high and so low. The Manageable was a effing blast. Yeah, no, this was a great collision. This was real good. I'm ready to get into the match breakdown, but other overall impressions so far, guys?
It was more fun watching it with you guys than it was fun, exciting.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, a lot of the winners were kind of the people I expected to win, but that didn't take away from how much I still had fun watching it play out and stuff like that. And again, like I said, though, you can tell like how far that production has come along, like with the promos and the way it was set up. It really felt like you were watching a big event, and then like having to stream and stuff with everything. With the people, it's like a lot. It's really cool now. As opposed to what it's been.
Yeah.
I
do agree that I do wish there would have been like one surprise though. Like, I know like it didn't take away from it, but it would have been nice for there to be like just like a major upset. But for me, I was kind of over. Like, everyone I was just cheering for lost. So it was a little bit of a bummer of a collision, but it was still like 3-4 hours worth of my time, and it was really a fun watch.
All right.
Except Melissa was sad the whole time crying.
I'll dig into that later, Melissa, because we have very different opinions on one of those matches you apparently predicted wrong. But I have a fun story. I did more than watch it. I was actually at the Collision taping.
Wow.
And it was one of the best moments of at least the year, if not my life, because I got to eat red vines with Ken Knapsack. Obviously a great time.
No Capri Sun?
He was
no.
red vines.
So, all they had was water and LaCroix. And LaCroix, fun fact, tastes like death. So
It's terrible. It's
I like
awful.
I actually like LaCroix.
well,
The
Danny,
wine one.
Quick question for the group.
Mm-hmm.
Twizzlers or Red Vines?
Ooh, neither. That's the correct
just-
one.
I just had
Twizzlers.
It's
I just had
Twizzlers, thank
Twizzlers
you.
today.
So
So,
all East Coast people can eat your garbage plastic candy. Red Vines actually tastes like food.
And it tastes like
Okay.
Finish in the
So-
chat.
Secondary question is black licorice. Why do people do that to themselves?
Ugh.
It tastes good, it's
Of course.
savory, and it's healthy for you.
No, none of the above. That's all.
Healthy?
None of the
It's
above.
healthy.
You want to guess?
None
It's
of
like
the above.
red wine and dark chocolate. In small doses, it is healthy for you.
Okay, continue on, James.
Yeah, so I was at Collision, and because he's in the chat right now, I can say I talked to Frank Janish about our show. He is
That's
a
great game.
Danielle as well. And look forward to talking to him more about why Andrew Guy is the GOAT and not Dan Murrell or Sam Levine or whoever else.
Rachel
And
Cushing.
And his weird stats for saying Jeff Snyder is the greatest teams player of all time, which I fundamentally disagree with.
Ooh.
But I think we could actually get into that later during the conclusion. But first, we have a pretty big match to discuss. The Manager Bowl, but without the managers. So we
Yeah.
had
I have something to say about that, but okay, continue.
we had player representing the managers. We had Eric Zipper from the Dungeon. We had Stacey Howard from Corruption. We had Janine the Machine for the Time Machine, even though it's a team. I sound like it just rhymed a lot, but whatever. We have McWeenie for the Family, which is also a team, but I'll complain less because that's the Andrew Guy. And John Roca for the Horsemen. Let the booing commence.
Boo.
Boo.
Thank you. It's a good team.
Who?
So, Melissa, you have some controversial opinions, apparently.
Oh no, she has controversial opinions. Let's hear.
Oh boy. Go ahead, Melissa.
Well,
Yes, everybody.
as the person who hates everything, I'll just get started. So my overall thoughts on this match was I was just like thinking these managers just need to get off the stage. Like, you do not have to come on the stage and watch the wheel turn. Like, Jeepers Creepers, like, come on. But legitimately,
Three. Excuse you, Melissa. Respect DiCaprio.
but like, okay, but legitimately, like, a good manager would prepare them for like the possibilities of spins, possibilities of opponent choice, and spinner's choice. They would prepare them for all that. They don't have to go up there and like have discussions with them like every 5 minutes. And I was just like, stop it. It's driving me crazy. And I think it was driving Mark Ellis crazy too, considering all of his snarky remarks about it. So that's about all else. Yes, James, do you have a question?
I didn't want to like assert myself during your thing, but it's a little hard for them not to because there's no space for them. Like, I can say, being a studio, pretty much the entire the filming space for it was almost entirely booked. There was no room for them to stand other than literally just off camera. Like, here's where the camera cuts off. They were about right here. So going on stage sort of made it more lively rather than having 5 people, maybe 6 because Grace plus Ken, just next to each other, basically breathing each other's air. So having to run up and do that gives them a little bit more of a
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'll give them the benefit of the doubt there. But like, if it becomes an ongoing thing, it's just gonna drive me crazy. I'm just gonna be like, you don't have to do that. As far as
it's Dagnino's shtick, but go ahead and continue.
well, okay. But so my controversial opinion, which has already been discussed, is I feel like, and I know that there's already been like matches that have already been filmed. I know that they've already got a schedule. I feel like the stakes would have been higher if the winner legitimately got control of something. But we all know that they don't, and it's in name only, and they're just going to do what kind of the storyline dictates. So I feel like if the winner at least had some stakes in control, then I think it would have meant a lot more. So that just took me out of it, like just this much. It took me out of it just a smidgen, because I knew that it really didn't matter who won, which manager won. I mean, it does because there's probably different storylines, but it didn't matter which manager won. It's not going to be legitimate, like they really have control. So that's just my opinion.
No, I kind
Well, I'm sorry.
You're good. No,
I'm
go ahead.
complete opposite of that. I love when the managers come out and hang out with their team and all of that. I think it's great. I love the shtick. Like, I love to see the managers come out and have this little chit chat with them behind the scenes, trying to discuss what it is. And so I really enjoyed that. And especially for the Manager Bowl. And I love the format of the Manager Bowl, having their own competitors play for them. I thought was the best idea. I loved that. So I really hope that they do that again, and I hope that they do it with teams. I think that would be fun. But I don't necessarily think that it's gonna stick with, like, I don't think that they have set storylines already in play for the rest of the year. I think they maybe might have a general idea of where they want to go and what they're doing with it, but I still think that they allow matches to kind of dictate where they're going with it. And I do think that they will have some sort of real control with it, and I think it'll be fun to see what Robert Meyer Burnett does with it. And I liked that was the stipulation for it, to have control of the league for a month. And we all know that it's a fun thing to watch on YouTube and everything like that, and half of it is serious. Like, you can take it as half of it is serious and half of it isn't, but I still think that there's some sort of creative control between the competitors and Christian. Like, I think Christian would totally and completely allow the league to go in a direction with Robert Meyer Burnett. Like, if they talk together and they decide, well, let's do this, and if it works for people and schedules and stuff like that specifically, then I think that they can pretty much do whatever they want. So I don't think that it's going to stick to a strict storyline. I think that it's going to be fun. So I'm really excited about it, and I'm bummed that it took you out of it because I really liked it.
Right.
I like
I think if nothing else, it sets up the match to be really good, because having a bunch of mixed match competitors that either come from separate spots in the league or just entirely different ranking singles or different leagues in general, just putting them together really actually adds an interesting dynamic to see. Oh, this, they get to flex now. They get to show a little bit of their skills if they haven't really had the chance to shine. But in addition to that, all right, so yeah, is a lot of the stuff already booked for like actual matches? Yes. Like, even looking at the schedule right now, all the matches are pretty lined up all the way until about halfway through July. And other than Oyama and Zipper, which again is the dungeon, not even like the family. There's not, like, you don't see a McWeenie match, we don't see a Guy match, we don't see another Burnett match or anything like that. So it does feel a little left to be desired, but
we have right now, there's a teams match to be determined,
right.
Which could have been just whoever wins the Manager Bowl gets a teams match, which would be great. There's also the undercard for San Diego, which could have that story push. And I think the thing they might have wanted to say to sort of give that knowledge is say, some matches are taped. After those air, then they have the month to reign.
Right.
I do agree with Melissa. I think saying that when we know there's no control does sort of lose that panache, that like the driving force behind it. If you tell the audience directly, you will get full control, just not for a while, I think that promises more interesting.
So I do kind of hope that they're like, if that is the angle that it's going for, that they're a little bit more upfront with that. Because like my first thought is as soon as the collision's done, that whole following month will be Burnett's run as like being essentially the chairman over everything. Otherwise, we're just kind of left guessing. Now, that could be some insider trading knowledge you have there, James. Do you know any better than us? Because it hasn't been confirmed or denied.
So here's the fun thing. I barely saw McWeenie and Burnett, let alone talk to them. For some reason, I just didn't talk to them. I talked a little bit to everybody else. Every other faction, I talked to somebody. Just not the one I'm representing. So
was McQueenie's kids there by any chance?
Although I did think
nice.
Fan League Insight, Robert Parker was there as well. I thought he was one of his kids. So I realized, no, this is the guy who would kick my ass, and maybe even Kalinowski's in an Intergeekdom match. So so for those who don't know, Robert Parker, he's about 20 years old, and the biggest threat to the Intergeekdom division currently, and hasn't had a match yet.
He's very famous at the family. too.
Yes, he is.
He's been in every film.
He is very scary.
Wrestling, everything.
He has a match coming up. He's had 2 matches in Movie Trivia Face Off, which we plugged last week, by the way. Scary. Anyways, yeah. So I didn't talk to McWeenie or Burnett or anyone from the family. Ben and Andrew weren't there. To my disappointment, I couldn't harass them in person and call Ben a bitch and punch him and call him a traitor. I just had to be civil and talk to Brandon Hanna and insult him in person.
No, Brandon Hanna's so delightful. You leave Brandon Hanna alone.
He's a killer.
Leave Brandon alone. Leave Brandon alone.
Brandon Hanna murders people. Why should I be nice to him?
He's nice to me.
He's a hitman.
Andrew murders people too, and we love him.
Yeah.
He only murders their souls. That's different.
He killed Dan Merle twice.
He killed Dan Merle twice. We love Viviani, and he murdered Riley.
He killed Dan 3 times. There's the real Dan Merle in LA that everyone just forgot existed.
Scoots McGee is the clone of Merle.
Scoots McGee.
Goose McGee is the best. Well, anyway, so back to the match. I actually really did enjoy the match as a whole. I'm just that little part took me out of it, but I really did enjoy the match. I was rooting for Janine, so I was happy she did as well as she did. The manager I wanted to take over was Kaiser, but I was okay with Robert Meyer Burnett. So like Kaiser and Robert Meyer Burnett were like the 2 managers I was kind of rooting for, but even though I was rooting for Janine to win, so it turned out pretty good for me.
Are you trying to turn this into a dungeon podcast, Melissa? You traitor?
How am I a traitor?
Melissa and I can easily turn this into a dungeon podcast. Don't play.
You want to start that, Danielle? You want to start that?
Is this the Call to Dungeon podcast?
For any of you guys.
You heard it here first, guys. The ladies have decided.
Hey,
Call to Dungeon podcast.
hey.
James is so jealous.
I got a pint with Kevin Smith. I didn't drink it because I'm underage, but I got a pint with Kevin Smith.
It's very cute.
Yeah.
You're Kevin's lady too, James.
Yes,
Absolutely.
James was the prettiest belle at the ball for our podcast when it came to.
Anyways, so a fun fact about this match, as I have all the scores down here, Roca lost to 3 out of 4 people. Outlaw's riding his last horse pretty soon.
I hope so.
So, can't wait for him to just lose and lose and lose. Man.
I'm so super proud of Janine. I think Janine did such a great job the entire match, keeping up with. I thought she had it. I really thought that she was going to take it. So I was super pumped. I think it would have been really fun to see what Jay Washington would have done with the league. That would have been super interesting. I think Kaiser would have been the most fun to see what happens in the league if he were to take control. But having the family take over the league is going to be a lot of fun.
So you know what would have happened if Jay Washington took over the league? Nothing, and deal with it, damn it.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
We probably would have been canceled if Jay Washington took over the league.
Yeah, Jay Washington. Raise your hand.
No, we would have been canceled. Roca would have gone and complained to him like, "Oh my gosh, people aren't being nice to me. They said that the hat doesn't even look good on my head. They need to be cut." And like, we gotta listen to him. And Emma5 comes in, just pulls the plug.
Show of hands. Who's got into it with Jay on Facebook before? We would have been.
Melissa, raise 2 hands. 2 hands.
I would raise 2. I should raise like about 5 hands because that's probably how many times it's been. But
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So, with that match, I'm kind of echoing off of Danielle's point. Yeah, this was a hard match to sit here and cheer for. Like, I knew I was going McWeenie just for the fact that this is essentially a family podcast now, not a family rated podcast, as in the family. But it was hard to cheer against Janine because it's just like, girl, take it away, man. Like, that would have been so good to sit there and see her win. She earned it. She kicked everybody else's ass all the way through.
So
Crushed it.
that question was awful.
Yeah.
Okay, so the guy in front of me who we were all playing along looked up the director. His name was Ronald Wallace, I think it was. He's directed 3 movies in the early 2000s and then nothing ever again. I think McQueen would be the only one to get that. Maybe Bibiani. But that question is ridiculous.
I think Zipper would have got it. Zipper's a champion.
Ooh, I can't
Okay,
wait to start talking about Zipper and Oyama.
I'm not going to hate on Zipper as much as I used to because he is honestly a really nice guy.
Yeah?
I need
Really?
a lot better than him too. Shut up, Dylan.
Who could have seen that coming?
But he's not. He had the lowest score of the night. That's really it. Just like he wouldn't have known it.
Oh, he knew.
Clerks. Yeah, he Clerks.
I think was the name of it.
Yeah. He knew. Blah blah blah. Stacy's 5-point question.
Or yeah, Stacy. Why did I say Clark? Sorry.
Oh, my sweet, sweet Stacy.
Stacy.
Heads.
Baby Stacy.
Side note:
Sweet
Stacy's
baby
nose ring was
Stacy.
amazing.
I was
Stacy
gonna ask
knows
that,
it?
James.
Right.
I was gonna
It was
ask
fake.
that.
It wasn't a real nose ring. It was like a.
I thought so.
It's one of
that was
those
my guess.
fancy fashion things now.
Yeah. No, she pulled it off. That was one of my very first comments on her. I'm like, girl, looking like a snack. She knows what she's doing. Like, that was good for her. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, she looks good.
Gotta win.
That's
Wow.
looking.
Golf
Actually, we all agree on that.
Yeah.
class.
I think I'm gonna get a fake tattoo.
Kalinowski in a suit. Grace and Stacy always bring their best, like leather jacket and dress game.
Mm-hmm.
Ken somehow just works everything. I don't know how.
How does Kim look good at everything, even when he's downing red vines every entrance?
I will say before okay, I guess we can transition to the Smets and Kalinowski match. Before the what's it called? Before the match started, we walked out and there was like the food table there, and he walks through it like the red vine thing, like, oh, that'd be nice. He grabs a handful and leaves. Doesn't even eat any of them. Just boink and walk out. It's like, you do you, sis. And he comes out doing it. I'm just like, I witnessed the greatest entrance. But I do have some sad news about Smets and Kalinowski.
Oh.
All of the tears.
Danielle, you look really moved by it. Do you want to explain that?
Okay, so I mean, it's very obvious that I'm a huge Kevin Smets fan. And he deserves it. He's a great Intergeekdom player. He's a great player in the Schmoedown. I would love to see him in regular singles leagues. I can't wait to see him in team leagues if he ever joins. I don't know who he could team up with, but it would still be amazing. But this match is honestly probably going to go down as one of the greatest matches in Schmoedown history. Like, no one can deny it. It was a nail biter. It was question for question. It was really great. And, you know, as much as I don't necessarily care for Kalinowski's character as a heel, I really, really, really like Mike Kalinowski. He seems like a great dude. I don't know him personally, but he seems like a great dude. I don't like heel Kalinowski. I want face Kalinowski to come back. And I think this is a chance for him to do it. I really want that. I really do. But so major props to Kalinowski for getting this win. He totally 100% deserves it. Definitely, absolutely 100%. No one can deny that. But man, I really wanted Kevin Smets to take this. I really wanted him to win. He's a good dude. And it would have been so much fun. I keep forgetting that he's still considered a rookie.
Yep.
Like, he's still considered a rookie in the league. It feels like he's been playing for forever for whatever reason to me. But I don't this is gonna sound really mean, but I don't necessarily want him to win Rookie of the Year, but I definitely want this match to win Match of the Year because it was just phenomenal and emotional and just great and just I'm super bummed that one of my favorite competitors in the league lost, but that's what makes super great entertainment. That was fun. It's still fun for me to I still enjoy it. Even though my favorite competitor lost.
Wait, so are you
So-
saying you want Paul Oyama to get Rookie of the Year over Kevin Smets? Fan
Absolutely. I'm sorry. I'm super sorry.
We want
I'm sorry.
we want
Your
our
baby
sweet
shark bias is really
DD
showing.
Paul, sweet DD
Sweet
Paul,
baby Paul.
deserves all the awards, all the praise, all the love.
Yes.
I-
Yes.
Oh my god.
And
Okay,
Smets-
so
Smets- we can make co if we want to do it. If we want to be fair, we can make him co.
I really hope we can get him on for that championship match because I am excited to see what that turns into.
Baby Paul gets to play Dan Murrell. Like, that's so nice.
Here's the thing, though.
He was gonna start crying again.
With Paul in our podcast, though, I think it's the funniest thing that we haven't had him on sooner, knowing that we're like
I
pretty
know.
first name basic with him. I think even
I
after
had him
the
on.
championship, we love Paul here, but even still, I'm like, no, Paul, you can call it last. We're not going to invite you on. Like, and we'll figure it out.
Dylan,
On our show.
Dylan, as the one who books the guests, I did reach out to him, so you can shut your mouth.
Ah,
I will show respect to the. I'll get into this, but I beat Paul at
So-
Collision.
coming back to the Smets and Kalinowski match, though, and why that's relevant is because Oyama's on a sweet run right now, and he's about to play like Dan for the championship, which is going to be awesome and good for Paul Ford. But there's so much of that like rookie, unbeatable attitude to him that like he's one that I hope he does beat Dan Murrell because I think it'll be a sweet run for him and for him to go in and just take it as like be a 2 year in a row where rookies come in and take the championship will be amazing. But he's also probably one of the players who I'd love to see humbled the most. And then coming back to the Smets and Kalinowski match, it was that one where it was just like, it sucks to see Smets lose because we just love him so much here. And Kalinowski was great. But I think part of the reason I've seen, like, probably just I do resonate with Kalinowski now is that we've seen him get humbled so many times and seen him rise back up. So I do want to see that, like, lose and come up in match, and I think Smets is going to start crushing it here again real soon. Once he gets back on the train, I don't think he's going to lose again. I don't think he's going to lose again.
So we all want like a Rocky 2 kind of moment.
Oh yeah,
We want our situation to get beaten.
yeah. They need to get clocked out. Paul, at this point, Paul, I want him to take away the title from Dan because, again, that'd just be so sweet, and to see a heel take over on that'd be excellent.
Also, Dan gets an automatic rematch.
I would equally so love to see a back-to-back match where it's Paul and Merle for 2 matches back-to-back, just 2 hours of straight trivia.
So, Dylan, what's
Technically,
what's
it would be like, couldn't it be 3?
I was going to say that. So it's the first match. Paul beats him.
Right.
Merle gets the rematch, and then Merle says, no, I got a title shot, and then turns it into an Iron Man match. So it would literally be 3 hours.
I'd watch it.
I wouldn't. I can't handle that. It's so much trivia. I say wow.
Yeah, we say if you want to see too much trivia, you can go watch the call to action reaction to the Collider Collision. Because
Time out.
AJ,
Pause.
it's the call to Asian. Yeah.
correct.
It was. Huge shout out to Mr. Dylan right over there for spending the entire time watching it on camera. On camera.
Dude,
Insane. You did a great job, my dude.
Thank you so much. They didn't even get to see like the 40-minute rants that we had edited out like at the beginning of this whole thing. James got to hear, like, I was just filling time before the collision started. So here's a behind the scenes thing really quick on that video, and then I'll wrap up that. Like, I sat there and I'm waiting for the collision to start. So I was just like, well, let me just go ahead and get it open so I can get some people in. And I'm just talking to myself for easily 30, 45 minutes. I'm like, what do I talk about? Well, I guess I'll talk about my job. I guess I'll talk about my hobbies and interests. And here are some other thoughts and feelings. And I'm just like, James will cut this out of the video. And then that video uploads, and it's only like 3 hours and 45 minutes. And I was just like, oh, yeah, it got cut. And it needed to be too. Y'all didn't need to know about that much about my life.
I felt so bad for James in the edit, and our sound was off, and I couldn't hear Danny because my headphones are terrible.
an 8-second delay.
That was just sad.
Oh, I'm sorry, James.
No, don't apologize. It's entirely my fault and my computer's fault for being awful. I couldn't have done anything. If I were to drag and fix it, it would take like 30 minutes for me to actually watch it. Oh no, it's a 9-hour export, and then I have to watch it, and then go back into the editing bay, clock how long exactly the audio delay is, correct it, and then do another 9-hour export to see if it's fixed. And I didn't want to do that.
So yeah, I'm on board with everybody else. How great and heartbreaking the Smets loss was. But I mean, Kalinowski's reaction though was like really great though.
Yeah, no, and like I'm a really big fan of Mike, even though he shafted us for an interview. I felt
Ghost and
I think
we will not let that live down.
I will not let that go away. But so Kalinowski is my number 2 Intergeekdom competitor. I am so happy to see him go to San Diego. It just sucks that it was Smets.
Yeah.
It was like, so back to me being there. It was literally, the room fell silent, just dead. And you could hear that in the live stream. It was just, don't tell Peter. And the air was sucked out of the room.
It was sucked out of like the whole internet. Even us, like me and Danny and Danielle.
Everyone guessing it right.
All of us, it was just me being like, no.
Just 40 seconds of just silence, and then no. Oh God. And
it hurts more too because he had JTE rules, so he could have said, wait, I know that's not right. Repeat the question. Like, because people started to answer before, and then it not fully land. And he, like, you could see it was going on too. Like, he was like, that doesn't sound right.
Well, he jumped the gun. He had 2 or 3 more JTEs he could have used. And like, admittedly, like I said so in last week's episode, he's generally newer to the 3rd round, and that's nothing against him. He's just too good. He didn't face a caliber of player that pushed him to that 3rd round.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think so I talked to him after the whole event. Like, this is his redemption arc. He looked like he was unbeatable, and now that he doesn't want defeat again. I think he's going to train harder than he has before. Somehow that's possible.
Yep.
I think he's going to study the game a little bit better, and he's going to come back pushing that like 90% accuracy rate to like 92, 93, 94. Like, having perfect games. That's the goal for him.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's the Rocky Tumo. Push it to the limit. Cue that song. Push it to the limit. I could see it in his dungeon. He's going to be trading for weeks, even months, until he gets that championship belt by the end of this year. Because mark my word, he will win that championship belt.
Kaiser's just going to be throwing flashcards in his face.
I really like that they got an actual dungeon for the pre-match cutscene. I think actually saying where Smets is like trained is really interesting.
Well, I like 100% agree with Danielle in that I prefer face Kalinowski to heel Kalinowski. Like I've just never cared for heel Kalinowski. So yeah, I definitely hope he's going back to the face, and how that'll handle corruption and everything, I'm not sure, but I think that's the struggle, which obviously I was as disappointed as everyone else was. The struggle for me is, and I know that Mike trains hard too, but we know that Kevin's training is like legendary, and Mike makes it look so easy. Like, he makes it look effortless. Like, he just shows up and just like knows. And I know that he studies just as hard as anyone else. It just comes across more like an effortless thing. So I do hope he beats Rachel though. I know we'll get to that later, but I do hope he beats Rachel, but then I hope that Smets can take the title back away from him. So it was disappointing just seeing Smets's reaction to really realizing he got that question wrong. Like, it was such a visceral, like, authentic moment that, yeah, it was tough.
So I'm gonna because you're talking about Kalinowski's training regimen. I saw the legendary binder he carries around, and you think, oh, it can't be that much. It's that thick, no joke.
Damn.
Yeah. So
That's
if you
that's the one that Shannon does for him.
I don't think she does it for him. I definitely think that she trains it sometimes. But no, he made that himself. And that's covered
Wow.
in just general great random knowledge. I would never discount I would never root against that man. I forgot, I think I may have said it here last week. Cushing, Kalinowski, and Smets, the belt can pass between them for the next 3 years.
Mhm.
I genuinely think there's no one in the league right now that can take that away from them. Olavic is always going to be a number one contender and never a title shot. Hannah
Brandon.
isn't quite yet.
Oh.
Chance could, and Chandru could with studying.
Robert.
For the return of Jason Inman.
I think
Please.
Inman's not coming back. I don't think.
I know.
He's busy. He's busy being. He's writing his comics and he's writing books. He's busy.
No, he's taken away because he's a showrunner right now.
I just say he's the caliber of kind of in that caliber. If he were wanting to return, he would be.
I don't know that championship tier. I mean, we've seen that in his match with Mara, showed that even. But I think it's that he's been away long enough where, if we're coming off of the summer season where you just missed 5 or 6 different movies that are going to be relevant to that league, I don't know. Where meanwhile, Smets, Kalinowski, and Cushing, I don't think they ever stop studying. I really don't. I know Cushing doesn't. She has 2 different leagues to study for. But yeah,
and I don't think Inman will ever fall as far as Hector, a Navarro kind of thing. But I don't think he will be. I don't know if he's gonna be the champion.
Nah.
If he came back, I don't think at this point. I think there's just too many people, and he's been away for too long.
Right.
I agree. I'm with Dylan on this one.
Well, see, Navarro doesn't know entire categories. Inman is not going to happen to that. I think I think just going back to the note I had before, we have 7 top tier competitors plus Robert Parker, and then you add back Inman and Morrow. We have an incredible league. I don't think Inman has any chance of becoming the next Hector. He needs a break. He'll come back not as good, but if he wants to dedicate himself like he has before, he will be a legitimate threat.
So here's a quick question that I want to ask.
He'll be solid, but not a champion, I don't think.
Oh, yeah. He can be. Beating everybody.
So with Inner Geekdom champions, we feel like that the Inner Geekdom League in itself just has such a high burnout rate. We look at it and we see Burnett burnout, pun intended. Navarro burned out after he lost it. Inman lost it, burns out. Mara for a lot of different reasons, burned out.
Mara's different, though.
Right. She had health issues and stuff like that kind of going into it. So
when we talk about Burnett and Navarro burning out, that's the league getting harder. I don't think Navarro's really seen a lot of most of the Harry Potter movies. I don't think he's even seen Lord of the Rings, if I'm not mistaken. And Burnett is only good at Star Trek. And I guess maybe MCU. But these are when they were competing and got the belts, the league was very different. It's that'd be like saying Makuga's a burnout, when really the league that he almost won a belt in is vastly different than what we're facing currently.
It is.
There's different roles, different game. It was a completely different one. Makuga was the runner.
So I guess why is it that Inner Geekdom is it's just that impossibly tricky league to keep up with, because it feels like that we see the top 3 or 4 competitors constantly rotating out. Rachel's kind of pretty good enough staple throughout. Mike's pretty much locked it in for a long time, but he's kind of fluctuated between being champion level and losing. And it just seems as though that's never stable. If you look at singles, you could say Merle is going to be in that top contention for most times. That Levine, Cushing, whoever, whatever, those people are always going to be in those top contention things. But it seems like the top 2 or 3 for Inner Geekdom just never stays consistent.
I mean, we say that Merle retired, Riley retired, Levine retired. The same thing could be said for singles. it just happens that in our geekdom, the question, because there's fewer movies, the question to get deeper. It's like Star Wars. Fewer movies, deeper cut. Inner geekdom is a league you have to study for, whereas with singles, it's less required. As someone who's like competing myself, inner geekdom movies are, you need to know very specific things. You can't study for singles. You can watch movies, you can review categories, but you can't study overall. And it could be that where people just put too much effort into it, but I think this burnout that you're mentioning isn't really existent.
Yeah, I kind of agree with James. Well, not about the last part, but I kind of was going to say the same thing. I think it's the studying regimen versus when you're in the singles league. Yeah, you can review IMDb pages and things like that, but you know, you can watch 12 different movies in a day just to kind of get caught up on like the classics category. Versus like when you're doing Inner Geekdom, you are studying the same movies over and over and over for like weeks at a time. So I can imagine how that would get, like you said, kind of the burnout situation. So I would guess that would be why it just, and with like Burnett and Hector, I think like when they joined the league, it was kind of a fun thing. Like, hey, we know geeky stuff. We don't like, it wasn't like a thing where you studied or anything. It was just like, let's just see like raw knowledge, who knows the most geeky stuff. And it's kind of evolved into like a thing where people like hardcore study. And I just don't think they're in that mindset of something that they want to do. So I think the people that do kind of drop out of the league, I think it's kind of probably for that same reason.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's because of the range of movies. I just think that there's Inner Geekdom is a smaller league than singles. I do think that you can study for regular singles league, but I do think that you have to study differently for the Inner Geekdom league because it's gotten so much bigger that there's more matches than there was before. More players have ran through it, just like Dylan said. And I can see where a burnout seems to happen because you can only answer so many questions about Star Wars and so many questions about Star Trek before you have to start really getting nitpicky about it. So I think that that's really what it is for the Inner Geekdom. I think that it's just a different type of studying that you have to do, a more intensive type of studying, which is why I think the Inner Geekdom League is one of the most advanced league that we have. I think that that's really what it is. There's just a lack of movies overall, just not a whole range of categories that you can go to. Can you imagine if they actually added Bond movies to the Inner Geekdom?
God, that would be miserable. I mean, Mike would have a blast, but I don't know. I think there's a couple of categories worth contending to actually add into the Inner Geekdom eventually, just because it feels like the pools have become so dangerously sharp and narrow. And kind of checking in with the chat, Frank had previously mentioned before that, you know, why we have such a strong contention for Rachel being in the like GOAT contention is because the Inner Geekdom League is just harder to be a champion in singles and doubles. That's, I mean, they're the same knowledge pool essentially, but Inner Geekdom has this pool that goes all the way deep in. Also, shout out to Nerd Chronic watching this. He agrees with James.
Nerd Chronic.
We love your promos.
We like your promos. You're the best.
So good.
So while we're on this trend, I want to go through the chat really quick just to call out some people. Like I said, Frank Janish, he talked about the Chandru Dandapani thick binder. Earlier we were talking about Merle using his title spot. The cool guy, I don't know who that is, says the Ultimate Showdown Teams tournament will be after the match between Shire Wolves and then whoever challenges them next. So Dan will probably wait to use that 4 teams after the tournament if he does so. Eric Frederick says he wants Johns to come back, as well as hoping that Mike will win in San Diego, which I agree. Don't tell them because apparently I hate women.
I agree with you, Eric. I want Jeremy back.
He goes on to say a Johns versus Levine speed round Ironman match. I think that'd be really interesting. And then he adds it later. Also, Hector goes to the Matt Ashady School for Veterans that still somehow don't know the rules. Which
Wonderful.
I think it'd be fun to talk about some of the people who just like compete a lot but still don't really learn, or think of this one as like a hobby rather than like something you have to work for. But
Well, some
Who was it
people are
recently? Who was it
some people
recently?
just are fun to be here. They just like
yeah,
it's just fun to be here.
I mean, like,
the
for
Nick
one-
Scarpinos of it.
Tom Dagnino, he would be on the list because he asks for the year of the movie literally every match. So
Okay, he's just trying to be funny though. That's different. I think
Yeah.
Hector Navarro
Is he?
legitimately gets the rules.
Is
Yeah.
he?
Yeah.
Okay, as someone who can lose on 5 points, I think Dagnino knows more than you give him respect for.
Yep.
No, I mean, I do
Oh.
like obviously like
Him and JT, the Bob team, the original box opera.
yeah.
Dagnino was
I-
almost a champion.
They almost were
No.
champions. They beat top 10 too.
I recently mentioned Dagnino's manuscript poll as my favorite poll of all time. So I have all the respect in the world for Dagnino, but like, I don't know. He asked for the year of the movie every single match. Who was it recently that asked, like, can I get to repeat the question? Was it Navarro? I was thinking it was someone else. And I was like, you played in like 8 matches. I'm like, how do you not know this by now? Maybe it was Burnett. I can't remember, but it was someone that asked for a repeat the question on like a round 3 question. I can't remember.
Oh, that might have. I
Was
want to say
that-
that met in his match with Dagnino recently.
Yeah.
The match of the year. That is the match of the year. That's the match of the year. I take it back. I'm sorry, Kevin Smith. I
Yes.
take it back.
Agreed.
This Mets and Kalinowski match, because we're here to really talk about the match that happened last week, which was Burnett and Dagnino. No, we're not getting.
That is match of the year, 100%.
Real quick shout out to Nat, member of the podcast, in our chat right now. She
Nat's
is,
here too.
yeah,
Hi,
Nat's in the chat, and he refuses to call the Asian podcast to
Yeah.
9.
Come on, Nat.
I'm
We're
sorry,
one
most of
step
me to leave
closer
then.
for domination. Get on. Dark shadow it.
Dark shadow.
Dark shadow.
James, I've already been told that you and I are going to have to like compete cutthroat style to see who
It's
gets
called
to
the
stay.
Caucasian. It's called the Caucasian Hunger Games. Please get that correctly.
It's still a Call to Asian podcast, but the cock is in parentheses in the beginning of that.
Oh man.
That's not good.
Oh,
Oh.
After
And
I
like
made
we
Melissa
said-
cry, let's jump on
And
to
like
the
I
third
said,
match.
we are
of
family.
Collision.
We are a family show.
Everybody, thank you for
We
coming.
are the family show.
We're the family show. Mhm.
All right. So moving on to the third match, as Melissa continues to cry, Paulo
BB Paul.
Yama versus whoever.
Sweet.
I'm
Yay.
gonna.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm the lead of this,
Rude.
Melissa, because
rude.
you were rooting for her. Apparently, that's interesting. You're rooting against a member of the Action Army, the Dungeon, and a friend of the show. Why?
Wow.
Okay, so I wouldn't say I was rooting against him because I
Well,
really
you're
like
rooting for
Paul.
Liz, so.
He's an Indiana guy, so I really like him, and I'm happy he won. I'm not like upset. But I really, really like Liz Shannon Miller. I think she's maybe my favorite female competitor in the league right now. I just really, really like her. And
Hmm.
it's one of those things which this is probably a precursor to a future episode down the road. But
Please
and I'm
tell
not
us
speaking to I'm not speaking to the showrunners or anything, but just to the fan community as a whole. I think without Ethan Irwin's like endorsement, I think someone like Liz Shannon Miller with her personality, a female with her personality and her style, I don't know that she would have been accepted amongst the fans. So, which like I said, this is something we'll probably have a future episode on at some point, but I think Ethan's endorsement kind of sealed it for her. But if she didn't have it, I don't know that she ever would have made it into the league. Or if she did make it into the league, I don't know that she would have been accepted into the league. So I really like her a lot. And I hope she continues to do well. I think she does need to study a little bit more. I don't think she has kind of the natural like knowledge that Ethan Irwin has that supposedly she did, but I really like her, and I want to continue to see her progress through the league.
I don't think you're wrong on that at all, though. Thinking about her performance, she gets 3 out. She gets all the way to a title shot. Also rookie coming up, but even for me, it has that feeling where, and maybe it's like character bias, where I couldn't tell you like where a Liz Shannon Miller storyline could come from. Meanwhile, with Paul, I could be like, oh yeah, we could spin it off to a bunch of stuff. Like he could insult somebody, make a rivalry call it a day. But with Liz, she goes very under the radar because of her. And I'm just going to read off Nerd Chronics on the chat. He says that she has a very reserved nature, which I think is exactly right. And it's players like that do tend to go under the radar until they kind of really find their niche and get comfortable on camera as well. I think I would liken her to kind of Bibiani even a little bit, where they kind of forced him in a position to kind of be in kayfabe, and it just didn't gel well. And then now that he's kind of more himself, this very happy-go-lucky character, and I think we respond to that more. Even with Merle. Merle has kind of struggled with being a character, so to speak, until really that he finally got comfortable with it and just started being more himself and being the GOAT as like more of an exaggerated version. And I think that made him really resonate more. So I think that Liz for right now could easily go under the radar as one of those just sleeper awesome competitors. But I mean, again, we're naturally attracted to that character and that charisma as well. It's not just the trivia. The trivia is great, but I think that it just you start seeing all these other charismatic people in contrast.
Yeah, maybe that makes me kind of a terrible person. I kind of forgot about Liz Shannon, until she faced JTE, because like she kind of just like was there one round against the Lemon. Was that her first match?
Yes.
Yeah. There's another guy that was nice, and we forgot about him.
Demi is the lightning or the electric lemon.
Electric Lemon, yes.
And then she beat David Del Rio, who beat Whitney Seibold.
Yep.
And then she beat JT. And now
which was, yeah. But I mean, I kind of was like ready for. I was already hyping myself already for JT and Oyama already the whole time. So when I watched that, like especially the first round, it was like hard watching it first.
Yeah. I don't want to be the guy who hates women again, but just
that's your MO though.
Apparently, I'm not sure if you guys saw in the little windows down here. I legitimately jumped when Melissa said favorite woman in the league, because I think Liz is so unremarkable, and that's nothing against her as a person. It's just because I'm someone who watches for the show of it. I want something that she has to offer, and she doesn't really change anything up. She's a lot like Ethan Irwin, and I don't like that. Like, I think if you look down the line, if for whatever reason Irwin and Janine split, putting her with Irwin could be really interesting. Like, giving her a team, I think works great. But on her own, she's an unremarkable personality who is good in trivia. And I'd be interested to see where she goes in more matches as we get like a more, like we refine her, like know where her knowledge is.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, I am just like, it's not even like I am angrily dispassionate. I don't care. Like she has zero, she lost zero impression on me.
But we stand Video Joe anyway here.
So,
Video Joe is a personality. I love Video Joe. Don't even compare them.
We stand her hard. We stand her hard.
We stand a horror icon.
So we don't actually hate anyone. We like Video Joe.
But going back to what Dylan said, like I feel like there are some people who are just better as themselves than characters, and like turning people into characters who just naturally aren't going to be good characters is worse for the league than making them like this major K-pop thing. Which I think like eventually she could become like a hybrid like character herself thing, like Dan Merle, for example, like Dylan mentioned. But I think forcing a character on somebody could actually detract from the league, because if everybody's a character, like I've said this like a million times, if everybody is a character, then it takes away from the specialness of it. Like it shouldn't be that everyone is a character. It should be there are some people that are characters, and there's some people that are more themselves. And I think she probably leans more towards the Dan Merle, Ethan Irwin, Drew McWeeny kind of camp of things.
Like I think someone then needs to teach her about like either trash talk or having some sort of presence or something. Because I feel like she has that Hector Navarro thing where she just comes in and has fun. And I actually like Navarro. I think he's funny and he has this like vibrant personality. I think Liz is just very mellow. I would argue maybe it's like an introverted thing where she doesn't have that need to present herself. And I think that's what they would need in a show like this.
I
She
just
needs
want to
to-
read something in the chat that Frank just said. It's interesting. He says that Liz's path, he could see her following that of Rachel's. Like where she's kind of like an introvert maybe. And it's all about kind of like her getting like confident and comfortable in the league. And then maybe we're going to see a future breakout star. What do you think about that?
I can see that. I think if she like actually puts effort into the league, it could be a possibility because she has the knowledge base. I think if she studies more, she's going to be more of a threat.
Mm-hmm.
And second, like that hat is iconic. I really love her outfits.
Yep.
If she can like continue to have a presence in the league, if she can like, I think she could have more of a presence with her entrances. That could be really interesting.
I'm more of a person who is on the side of the fence where I like that my trivia show has a little bit of drama mixed inside of it. So I love the whole trivia part of it, and she's really good at it. And I think that's what's going to help her get into the character, just like what Frank said, how it kind of follows Rachel's path with it. Rachel's knowledge of trivia is what got her into more matches, which is what led her to go into getting into character and doing things like that. So, and I don't think she has a mild personality. I do think she's a little sassy. I mean, she's got some spunk to her. She's witty. And I think that she just needs to get a little bit more comfortable in front of the camera and let her character evolve, because that's what I like to see. Me personally, that's what I like to see in the Schmoedown is characters evolve. And if someone who's kind of inside of her shell can slowly come out of it in like on camera, it would be a lot of fun to see. So I don't want to discredit her and say that she's a boring personality for the Schmoedown, which is what I think most people on like the Facebook page or the fandom would kind of consider it. But I think as she gets into more matches and does better, which I think she's totally capable of, her personality will just kind of shine out a little bit more, because I do think she's witty.
I would argue. Don't go ahead.
I do see a little bit of Rachel though in her. Like even like when we saw Rachel in the beginning, she did. I mean, Rachel always had the dressing up, but you know, she kind of just did it for fun. But like the live event was really like the first time we kind of saw her. You know, she was a little bit nervous, but we saw her kind of break out into something like that.
Like, Rachel's big defining moment was the Galadriel entrance. Ever since then, she's been a star. I think that's all we need is a Galadriel where it's like, okay, you got something, sis. Go ahead.
You know what I realize I think is the biggest juxtaposition, so to speak, between Liz's character and I think a lot of everybody else is that even if you compare to some of the people who aren't really fully characters like Rachel or Dan or anything like that, is that I don't think we've had a moment where we've seen really emotional investment from Liz in this. If I'm looking at her and stuff like that, all of her matches, I mean, she's good in it, and it's not necessarily a character piece. It's just like she looks like she's just as okay with winning as she is losing. And I think that's a very big difference between looking at Paul or looking at some of the other competitors, is that even I think the times when for going back to the Smets and Kaunowski thing for even a second, is seeing Mike's reaction at the end of that match or seeing Rachel's reaction whenever she got the title. Like, and Grant, you know, she hasn't gotten to a title match yet, but the fact that she got into a number one contender match, I don't know. I want to see more emotional investment in there. And I think that not seeing that so far does kind of keep people distanced away from where she is as a person. Because if we don't think that she's invested, then we're not going to get invested in her.
I'm going to say I agree with you, and I want to bring up one more point because I want to read the chat also. Just sort of a question to you guys: do you think people are harping on Liz more because of a gender bias? Because as someone who's like gone on record saying they don't like the lack of personality with people like Erwin and Dan, and even Rachel to an extent, people don't complain about them.
Okay, so this was kind of part of my probably a future episode thing, but I think for you specifically, James, I don't think it's a gender bias thing. So, like,
removing myself from the equation because
that's because I know you personally.
yeah, I'm saying like what I've seen on the pages. I don't see
There
people
are a lot of there are a lot of people on the Schmoedown group that are, I mean, they're just
Gender assholes.
yes, and besides that, I think like just in general, this is just kind of in general thing. I think women have to be a certain way personality wise. If you are short and chunky or whatever, you almost have to be over outgoing in order for people to accept you. Whereas if you are gorgeous, like Stacey Howard, I mean, it's just one of those things where like your looks sort of drive your personality. And I think this is just kind of like a life thing. This is a world thing. This isn't like a Schmoedown thing. Although I will say the Schmoedown Facebook group, seeing the things that they've said about Jen, seeing the things they've said about Roxy, seeing the things they've said about all sorts of people. Like I know for a fact there's a gender issue in the Facebook group.
Oh yeah.
That said, in general, I do feel like certain people, introverts, I think it's harder for women to be introverts than it is for men. I think women are expected to be a little bit more outgoing. And I think when they are maybe more plain looking or whatever, I think they're expected to be doubly that much more outgoing in order for people to truly like accept them. So that's my like life lesson there.
I would agree, though. I think there's a certain amount of likability to being attractive. I mean, strictly put. But even aside from that, I'll say for me personally, I wouldn't say it's a gender thing, and I'm not just saying that to like look good on the podcast or anything with my two other female casters. But it is a thing for. I thought about it for me, and I was just like, well, if we compare it to Ethan, I think about some of Ethan's matches, and I was like, Ethan had some crazy matches on the way up to the title shot. Him against Lon was like super good. And then I think about Dan, and I think about a couple of these other matches, and I see that emotional investment because they were just even Ethan after his match with Lon was like, "Dude, thank God!" Like that was close. And with Liz's matches, they've all been Liz's like either been slowing down, coming back. Her and JTE's is the closest one, and that was just a really sloppy match. It was one where JTE's questions were like way harder and stuff like that. Not taking it away from Liz at all, but it was a match where it was much less invested. Like if it was toe for toe all the way through, I think we would have seen more investment in there. And for me, it's always just been, I want to see them invested in their matches, and Liz hasn't shown that emotional connection. But I would absolutely agree with all of your points, though. There are a lot of people that look at it as a girl, and they do expect more because they're like, oh, well, women's competing. Okay, well, show me what you got then. And if they're, I mean, less attractive by general standards, I mean, I'm not going to say who I think is least or more attractive as that goes, because that's not the point of that. The point is that I think that people will find more attractive people more likable. And if they find them less attractive, then they're going to be less likable. And they're going to look for any reason to validate that. So if they say, well, she's boring because this, this, and this. Yeah, I think there's a subconscious piece to it as well. But generally speaking, I think that her matches have been overall less exciting just across the board. And I think between that and the emotional aspect, that's been my biggest divide with Liz.
Yeah, I kind of get it, Dylan. Like, even like her promos, it's always been like, you know, I'm just here to have fun. I'm just here to kind of do my thing. But we really need to have that moment where she's gonna, you know, a breakout moment where, you know, we see her kind of let loose and have like that emotional thing. And now it's more than just the knowledge in her head, you know. Can she sustain, like, you know, and because that's part of, I mean, that is part of the Schmoedown is, you know, there is the trivia part, and then there's the game and the performance aspect of it. And it's a lot harder, and it is a lot harder for people that are introvert, because I'm a natural introvert too. Mm-hmm. So like even the fan leagues, I'm just like, I don't have a personality or anything like that. I just answer what I know, and I don't do anything else. So I mean, I would be like, if I performed, I would be like a Lewis Sheehan, but I would just be like, wow, I'm just awesome to be here, kind of thing. But so I mean, I get where she's coming from, but you know, I just think that once we have that little moment with her, you know, that we could say like, oh wow, you know, she's legit, like, you know.
You know what moment she needs? She needs a McWeenie moment. She needs McWeenie on the championships, screaming. That I would love this a million times more just to see that much that she cared that much about it. But I do feel like we've been on this for a while, and we still have one more match to carry because this video will run long, and I do want to go to bed at some time, guys.
We're not too long quite yet, but I do know some of y'all are like past midnight now. I want to say a couple things. Melissa has admitted I don't hate women, so y'all can stop making comments about it. Second of all,
confirmed.
Yeah, I'm not sure what kind of fans we have, but I've seen some of the comments towards Roxy, and y'all need to back off. You are legitimately disgusting. Luckily, I've avoided the stuff about Jen, but Roxy's fans, if you want to call them that, are particularly disgusting. So, stop. But also, I want to read some comments, which I think is going to lead to my next point pretty well. If I can even find where they were. The cool guy says maybe Liz can join Time Machine. Nerd Chronic, hello, says, I hope she joins a faction. It would work really well with her line after her match with Oyama. Maybe I really should have walked out with 3 of my best friends. And Frank, which I mentioned earlier, she could follow the path of Rachel. Do you guys think that Liz could be a good team or faction player? And if so, where would you put her? Or even would you just make a new faction for her? I'll give you my first thought so you can give you all time to think about it. I think having this face front but game first faction could be interesting and I'm gonna push this storyline because I am certain it's gonna happen. Is put her in a faction with Bibiani and Brendan Meyer because I'm still betting those two are gonna end up on a team together. I Whitney seems to be going heel, in which case we get Self-Righteous Brothers as a heel team, and I would love that. But putting her on a faction with them, maybe managed by someone more sophisticated, like Jonathan Harris, because I'm sure he's going to leave pretty soon. Having some of that would be a lot of fun, and it would give her those friends to walk out with, people of comparable knowledge who she could work with, and have Bibiani there to maybe help her coach out a personality, even if it is just really awesome outfits.
Mm-hmm.
I think that gels really well as a new faction. I mean, they have that persona vibe to each other, and I think even Liz learning from Brendan Myers, which Brendan Meyer is very much the extrovert of that group. He's so much into it. I think Bibiani is one of those introverts who just can sit there and be uncomfortably uncomfortable on camera, and it works for him. But I mean, knowledge-wise and everything, I think that'd be really interesting. But I think that leaves it open for who would be your partner in that. I mean, with John Harris, I guess that'd be interesting.
How fun would a montage of Bibiani and Liz in different intro outfits?
Yeah.
they would have their dress up montage of just Liz walks out of the curtains and Bib's not that one.
Nah.
Or you're wearing that.
Oh,
Yeah,
that'd be
so fun.
it'd be like 27 dresses or a little. Say it's the dress, the outfit. Maybe Ali say nodding in his approval.
Mm-hmm.
And you have an 80s song background.
It'd be so good.
I'm for that.
Dylan, do you have any thoughts on the faction or teammate or?
I think it'd be interesting to kind of see her blend in where Stacy left off on and the Jay Washington's faction. Having Jay just be another mouthpiece for it, and then her being a part of the same faction as Ethan, although that might be a little on the nose. But yeah, I like your idea more than that. Any of the other heels, we are in a heel era of Conan right now, and it is so far between for faces that I think that it's probably be better just to sit there and put her with some faces or create a new faction that's a strong face or a strong face team.
Yeah. We could just turn this back into the early days of the show of just hey, what faction do you want to make? And Nat's faction just became reality by pure coincidence. But I think that'd be a lot of fun. Just let's have Liz as a dart and just throw her to a faction, see if it would fit.
That'll be our new variety section.
Yeah. What if you make her part of the Odd Couple? That would be interesting.
It's Marvel What Ifs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Liz Shannon
like
looks.
what if Liz won the belt? What would the league look like? But okay, so speaking of winning the belts, who do you guys have, Oyama or Merle?
Oyama. I want it to be Oyama.
Hashtag Team BB.
Team BB Oyama.
Yes, I want it to be Paul. Also, I think it's going to be Merle.
Yeah.
But it would be a lot of fun. It would just be fun and just kind of heartwarming, just because we all kind of know Paul on like on personal level almost, and
Mhm.
it'd be really neat to see him win against Dan. That would be fun. But I think Dan's
Yeah.
going to take it.
It would be just nice to see like our Fred like win it.
Yeah.
Oh, be good.
Oh, it would be the first time we could have someone on the show who actually is holding a belt. Like, I'm not just calling the show, hey, this is called Action Podcast, and Paul just in his cocky way, like, man, this is heavy. Can I just put it down somewhere just to relax, you know?
Or so we could literally just drive to Paul and just be like,
I mean,
hey.
I could either drive to LA or one of y'all could drive to wherever he is in Indiana. And just,
I mean, I don't know how.
Why am I hearing
Well,
so many different places about Paul living? I thought Paul was in Hawaii. What's
That's
going
where he's
on?
from. He lives in.
Okay.
He's from
Oh,
Hawaii, but
okay, I thought he went to
school in
Indiana for college.
No, that was his college, but he's from Hawaii,
Oh,
and I think he's in LA now. He's in LA now.
Called it
With
Action
his
Goes
movie.
Tropical. A little spin-off show.
Yeah,
Like
he's Hawaiian.
Yeah, it'll be like our version of It's
He-
Alive Going Places, which I think, Danny, you watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just have a little Hawaiian excursion.
Yep.
But we have the final, or here, a little note from Nerd Chronic. I actually would like to see a what-if storyline where we see the alternate stories and timelines for big wins and losses. What if Dan beat Guy? What if Who is the Boss beat the Chirals, etc.? I think what Christian's doing right now is posting these actual scenarios of here's what would have happened if so-and-so happened was really interesting. Like you said before, that if Dan had beaten Andrew, the third LA Live event, rather than having Founding Fathers play Wait, I Know This, it would have been a double header with Levine and Merle in a match. Or like with Houston, if Guy won, Riley would leave the Horsemen. That I would dig that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Christian's doing a good job right now. He made a post on the Facebook page recently about what show would add to the channel. A what if series could be really interesting.
Yeah, and the Jessica and Jennifer Sturger show.
Yes.
All right, so
So
final
the big moment.
the big moment where I fell to my knees in disappointment, and I will go down in history as the youngest co-host to be banned from the award show for hating women. It is Shire Wolves versus The Odd Couple.
That was it. That was
Let's games begin.
Yeah. I'm
good
just going to say
thing
this
Bill
right
and I
now.
were.
I think Shire Wolves, if they play their 100%, are unbeatable.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Because
Yeah.
Clark went 2 for 8 in the first round and still won.
Yep.
Like,
Exactly.
That was the worst.
ridiculous.
Exactly.
I think that was the worst we ever saw Clark play, and yet they
Yeah.
still found a way to win. And
That's the
that
worst
just tells you the kind of players and the kind of team chemistry that they have together.
That's
Like-
the worst performance in a title match we've
Terrible.
seen since Bruce Green tried to win a Star Wars belt.
Ooh.
Aww.
Who's that? Hashtag,
he
who is that guy?
he was at Collision last year.
I know. I was making.
I
sure.
mean, he was put in a pretty hard spot. So
Yeah.
we
I
love
mean,
you.
yeah,
Amber.
but he also got 5 points. I think most of us have beaten him in that match.
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking the same thing. Was that Clark? I don't think will ever play that badly again. So I really can't see them losing, with the exception of if Clark has a medium to good match and Rachel also has a medium to good match on the same day, maybe there's a chance. But otherwise, it's not looking good.
I disagree. I think that at this point, the Shire Wolves show that they can lose, and Clark definitely didn't play on her best for the championship match, and they still walked away with it. But at this point, I'm convinced that the league is so good, it just comes down to, do they know their 5? Do they not know their 5? That's it.
how fast can you hit that buzzer?
Yeah, and the buzzer round too. Those are the two things that make the betting round as well. And that was but betting round, buzzer, and 5 points. It's that and a championship match. Outside of it, if they know their fives or don't know their fives, the league is such at a high level right now that I think that's really the true definer.
So I forgot to bring this up. So sorry, really quickly. How much do you guys have notes of when you played along with the matches?
Not really. The only ones I did any note keeping on was like Smith.
I mean, I did.
Okay.
We were playing along, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I erased it. I don't remember.
Yeah. I don't think you talk about Hershey because I beat Oyama in his match. So come at me. I'll gladly take him on. But also,
yes, come at him, please.
Yeah.
Just to point out for the Shire Wolves match, like that is legitimately very difficult. I went, I think, right under 50% for that entire match. That is a tough game. Like, full respect to both teams. They played their hearts out. Yeah, Clark had a bad first round. But, like, that was a phenomenal game.
Mm-hmm.
And
that was my favorite.
Anytime soon.
I mean, the Smets one and the Kalinowski was the most emotional one, but I think this one was like my favorite one.
I think it was technically the best game.
I like this one the most out of all of them. But out of Collision, this was my favorite. Because Dylan and I were playing against the whole time, and I was like, "Oh no, this is." I was like, "Here we go, Clark's round one. It's gonna be," and then we just had it bounce right there. It was the mirror image of the championship, the same way.
Yeah.
I would say another way would be, I don't know if another Iron Man match would ever happen, but I feel like in an Iron Man match, I think the Shire Wolves are a little bit more beatable.
The Shire Wolves would need to initiate that, or else someone would beat them, and then the rematch would happen, like with Above the Line.
Unless, could Dan make the stipulations of a team match? Could he say Iron Man match when he?
I don't think he could. That would be. I think Founding Fathers has the best chance of beating them, which is bad to say because I don't want them to win. I think on a pure knowledge base, they're probably the best. It would be interesting to see other people go for it, but I don't think anyone has that possibility.
I think the Shire Wolves have the best team chemistry in the entire league. I think that they complement each other very well. They know each other, and they have like a somewhat like personal vibe with each other that they can pick it up. Because, yeah, Clark had a bad round, but you never saw that on Rachel's face. Like that didn't faze Rachel in any sort of way. And even when you hear them talk about it, and in the post interviews and stuff like that, they never say that it was one person's fault over the other. And I think that that's good to have in the league. And I'm super pumped for the Shire Wolves. I am so glad that the Shire Wolves won. I love the Odd Couple. I think that they also complement each other very, very well. But I'm super glad that the Shire Wolves took it and they have it. And I hope that they keep it for a long time because I do really, truly think that they deserve it. I think both of those ladies work very, very hard to compete in the Schmoedown, and Clark has been in it for a very long time and deserves all of the good things. Clark Wolf deserves all of the good things. And yeah, I'm just I am pretty pumped for it. But I do think that Clark and Rachel together have the best chemistry as a team.
I agree. Like you could tell that they never bashed each other, at the past match. And even when they were starting to even like kind of like doubt themselves, they're like, no, you didn't do you just keep doing your thing, and they believe in you, and they love playing as a team together, and it is refreshing, because there's some people that can be just really petty. I mean, you can tell that they're genuinely caring and supportive of each other. We need more of that in this world.
Well, I think they stick out so much as well too because we are in this huge heel era of the Schmoedown, and they are the truly babyface team. Like the closest thing we have to being anything is like the tweeners with the Founding Fathers, who are just in the middle. But there's no really like pure babyface team other than the Shire Wolves. So I do think that they are exactly what we need. They do need the other side to kind of compare it.
And unless I'm mistaken, they're also the only pre-Anarchy team who really exists right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone else was made from that tournament, so they're the only people who have that extra time to like really bond.
Mm-hmm. And we
Yeah.
gave the tribal some crap before, obviously.
I
Like
still do.
yeah, we still do, but
Yeah.
I'm saying like we started off with like basing off made up dream catchers and things like that, and we're just like, but I think they've really proven themselves to to the people that have been doubting, and people like myself that we're just like, oh great, they just made it for a storyline into like this team is like a legit team. But it is really exciting every time they match up, because you know that anytime they're going to play, it's always going to be any contention for a top match or something really memorable.
Mhm.
Like that's something you can always say. No matter what, you're never going to see a bad match. You're never going to see a bad match from them. They're always going to give it their best, even when they're down and out.
I am still very far from being a fan of them, but I respect them a lot more the more they defend. And that's why I think they're unbeatable.
Yeah.
I generally don't think that there's a team right now who can beat them. And even if it was Founding Fathers, the only way they could keep that belt is with an Iron Man match. And even then, Roka could falter because he's done that a lot. I think Shy Wolves are the ultimate team that will need Above the Line to come back to beat them. And even then, Above the Line has their own issues with Sam Levine being inconsistent.
Family. It's got to take a family.
If the family wins the team titles,
The Goat
I will
Slayer.
jump on a roof, scream, I am a golden god, and do a triple backflip. I would be so happy.
James, you better start practicing that stuff.
I will be. But
It's happening.
It's happening.
I really hope that that they can get the match set up with them and Evil Geniuses, because that'll be so fun.
Oh my god, I cannot wait for that match. As soon as that match got announced, I was just like,
Yeah.
oh, that's going to be so good.
Well,
The banter?
It's not formally announced quite yet. It could be the to be determined teams match, but not official.
Yeah. You saw, yeah,
Wildberries is pre-anarchy, and they're still together as far as I know, right?
They're the best chemistry.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah, Tap's mentioning that Wildberries and Critically Acclaimed are still existing pre-anarchy. But
I don't think Critically Acclaimed.
Critically Acclaimed's on the clock, kind of from how it looks with the Brendan Meyer storyline. And the Wildberries are a part of this chunk of the team league that is there to let all these other team leagues come up.
Whoa. Okay,
whoa. We're not going to have this kind of
we will not have this slander.
heresy.
Okay?
Slander.
Josh McCouga beat Clark Wolf. They could do a lot. They just don't.
No.
We do the do here.
Listen, love.
Shapiro-
Danny,
Nick
we're
Shapiro.
a family podcast. We do not do the do on show.
I like Mountain Dew. It's delicious.
Guys.
So
And-
And don't forget, we have the Northern Berry District with Nick Shapiro.
God, I want a Wildberries faction so bad with Kind of Funny. That would be so great.
It's the takeover. It's the takeover.
I'm sure Matt's freaking out in the live chat now, just at the mention of Kind of Funny.
Yeah, so listen, there's a good chunk of like the team league that is essentially matchups that help the other teams get their 1 and 2-0 rankings right now. We have Wildberries, Kind of Funny. Who was the team that the Founding Fathers just
What about
played?
the Real
Almost
Regents?
Real Region. And it's not to say that they don't have good players and don't have good talent, but literally, it's something we've said multiple times on this show right now is that a lot of the teams right now, the Evil Geniuses, the Family, upcoming to be the Time Machine, Who's the Boss, Odd Couple, all of these teams are championship level teams right now, and there's a disparity in that skill. It's not to say the other teams aren't skilled, and that there's not to say that they couldn't pull an upset off, but it is getting less and less likely as good as this team league is getting. And the Wildberries is just in that category where their chemistry is just too great to sit there and not just put them onto like a like live event title card.
And I think if you
I just
look,
need to
I
say,
think if you,
wait, I just want to say something in the chat. Cool Guy says, hot take, I prefer ETC to the Wildberries. Hell yes, I love that.
I agree.
Yes.
ETC is
Team ETC. See,
Schmoedown.
I just want to say one thing. The whole reason why I went into getting action was because ETC. Because ETC was like that original like mischief making team, and I loved ETC all the time.
They beat profiles.
They beat profiles.
I'm only here for a
So-
little bit because I'm supposed to be watching Endgame right now, but the trailer's on. So.
Cole, here it is. We made it.
All right.
Nat,
The call-
Nat, whatever
call
it takes,
to
my
Asian
brother.
Whatever it takes.
Wait, let's do a fusion dance, guys. Can we?
I only have access to one hand, but
Uh-huh.
Sorry.
There you
It's
go.
transforming.
Nat, we were talking about how kind of funny should form a faction with wild berries. Are you interested?
hell yeah, I'm interested. That's my dream match.
It's called the Northern Berry District.
Yeah, I think Josh McCool is actually going to be on Kind of Funny Content tomorrow.
Oh no, is he having Danielle problems?
Nah, we hear him fine.
No one can hear you.
I can't. It's me. It's always me.
It's okay,
Yeah.
Danielle. He's just talking about how
Danielle is
Endgame's the best
having
movie of the
Danielle
year.
problems.
10 out of 10. Whatever it takes. I hope they remember you and all that good stuff. Nat, report back after it's done. Let us know what you think of the new scenes that are added.
All right, you guys
It's
got
all-
it. Have a good
It's
podcast,
almost,
guys.
You too.
how many tears you shed?
Oh, God, she said you too. I feel terrible.
All right, for 5 seconds, that was, or about like maybe a minute, that was the greatest podcast.
The Asians took us over,
The
Melissa.
dream.
Ah,
It's happened.
yo,
Slow
Darby.
down.
Now.
Okay. Fans of the show, remember, come December, nominate us for Show of the Year. That
We
way,
have
me and
Richard.
Melissa can be taken
Richard's
hostage.
in the chat, guys.
I have
What's
a-
up, Richard?
Yes! Richard! Darby!
Darby?
All right.
Quick note, remember,
Yay!
if we get nominated, we will win, and then we can have the actual Call to Asian show after me and Melissa get kidnapped, bound, and gagged for the actual best show on the internet to exist.
Can we do that as our acceptance speech? Like me, Danny, and Nat walk up, and whoever can make it out for it.
I will say, I already have my acceptance speech planned, and it's going to be a lot of fun because I have a very expensive suit waiting to be used. But
We say
I
this.
have it ready.
Guaranteed, we're not going to get any of this like opportunity to do a sketch or anything at all. We can just throw it out the window. We will just have an episode dedicated to
Oh.
what we would have done if we were able to, just after the like Schmoedown Awards. So look forward to that after the Schmoedown Awards.
We'll do a live episode there, and just being like, there are no matches to discuss this week, but everyone's just an asshole. Hey Roka, how about you come be a guest on the show and just tear into everybody?
Hey, Kalinowski, why don't you stop ghosting us?
hey, Kalinowski, you want some Putin, brother? Let's see,
We're just gonna throw white bread on. We're gonna throw white bread on Adam.
Oh my. Okay, so look, we can wrap up the episode now. But I did get one note from Janine, and I can't say what it is. But something about white bread is going to happen in our match against Kalinowski, and I cannot wait for y'all to see it. Legitimately, it's my most anticipated thing for next week. Outside of this Schmoedown, just in life in general, that is what I'm looking forward to.
Here's my bold prediction for it. All right, we ready?
Yep.
She brings the toaster to the set. Her entrance is her popping the bread into the toaster, and she sits there for the entire minute, pulls it out, tosses it at Mike, says, "Suck on this, let's play." And then
It'll be the longest entrance to date, and that's with critically acclaimed.
yeah. But anyway, yeah, I guess
In the chat, Jarvis says "cat for the win." I couldn't agree more.
Cat as in the,
Call action too. He misspelled it, but
oh yeah,
I thought we were talking about Action Cat.
action
Action
cat.
cat.
action cat.
Is Alex Cat or Alex is action cat?
Yes.
Yep. We're bringing Action Cat.
Yeah.
All right.
Buckets, and don't forget Buckets the raccoon.
So I think I already heard a couple of you guys, but what was your favorite match at Collision?
Try was.
Danielle, Melissa.
Smets and Kalinowski.
Probably the manager ball.
Smets and KO. So
My
much-
actual answer is Manager Bowl, but I'll say Oyama and Liz. That way we can all have everyone can get some love.
Mhm.
But I think the only thing that I think this Collision was almost perfect. The only thing holding it back was more cutscenes because I feel like this was very story flat.
Mm.
I was so again me at the show. I was next to Harloff when he was doing that final goodbye or whatever, and I'm just like undercard because it's less than a month away and we don't know the second match, and that's infuriating. And something more should have been added to the show, whether it was story, undercard, or even if just like someone just walked on stage and be like, "Hey, I'm joining the league," like whoever that dude was at the awards 2 years ago, I guess it was Thomas.
The one we never saw again.
Well,
No,
he was the secret behind corruption or whatever. Like,
yeah, he was the lawyer in corruption.
there needed to be some story drive that just wasn't there. This was a trivia event, and I dig that. But I think there should be a balance, and that just wasn't here.
I think part of it is just like the competitors that were in the matches. Like there wasn't. I mean, I guess Roka was a part of the match to my chagrin, but I mean, generally
Roka
speaking,
lost, which is good.
Generally speaking, like a lot of the storyline heavy competitors were not part of the matches. So, I mean, that would be my only explanation.
You could still pre-record something like they had the stuff in the beginning with all of the
Right.
yeah, kind of hyping up their players, which just it was sort of went on for a while. Which
Yeah.
So
That was kind of weird.
What did the people in the live chat? Did anybody put what their favorite matches are?
Right now, we're really just on a train of I'm glad Roka lost.
Everybody,
Actually, I see that, and I totally am down for that.
Yeah. Will says the manager bowl. David Spaniard, the commissioner, and he's a face, so I hate him. He said Snetsy Kalinowski. Frank said Paul, which is awesome.
yeah.
Did Frank say he hates Roka too? Because if we could start this rumor of Frank Janish hating John Roka, that would be like awesome.
Well, I don't think he can because he's like officially endorsed. Like once we win, we have to stop saying we hate Roka because then it'll be like
No,
he hates Roka.
You're gonna finally see us sell out. We're gonna come
We are
out with
not
full
selling
style.
out.
We're gonna come out.
We are
We're gonna have
not
our face
selling
turned.
Outlaw gear, Charles,
No.
finger foam.
This entire crew will walk up. We're gonna throw up the 5.
Yep.
and then throw a chair on Andrew Guy.
At the end.
Frank Janis said, and I quote, "I loathe Roka," and that's why.
Go ahead.
You heard it here first, people. Spread the rumor.
And we have
Where
evidence.
they-
So you know what, Frank? We're getting you kicked off the rundown, and they need a new stat boy. And you know what? I write down scores like every other episode, so I am meant for that position. Spence for rundown 2020.
Oh God.
Wait, we need to bring the sign guy back. Sid
Yeah.
guy.
Hashtag wait.
Sid guy.
All right, guys. All good things must come to an end. But I'm not gonna wrap it up.
I know it's small, but I can officially start my run to be on the rundown as the new stats boy.
Oh, don't worry, James. I had to sit here and remind Frank that Bibbs versus Merle happened as a title defense. So we're both doing Frank's job this week. Unpopular opinion.
On favorite matches, Eric Frederick says Smetsy Kalinowski, but he also enjoyed McQueenie and Burnett celebrating. And Cool Guy says Shirewolves and Odd Couple 2.
Oh, and Andrew from Andrew. Andrew is on the chat. What's up, Andrew?
Andrew's in the chat?
Yep.
No, Scourge, who is our loyal
Scourge.
fan who comments on all of our videos.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
we know who you are, Scourge.
Throwing a question in here.
Yep.
Dagnino Burnett in the collision. Do you think that would have been like a good fit?
Yes.
They were both there anyway.
Yes.
Mhm.
I don't know. Like it feels like it would have been like a really good. Just
It would have been a nice
palate cleanser. Yes.
Thanks. Like you have the manager bowl, which was a lot better than I expected it to be. You have Shirewolves is always going to be a great match, especially Kalinowski, which is going to be a great match. I don't think Liz is meant for a live setting, and Oyama, sure, but we're also going to get him in a title match pretty soon. That could have been saved. Putting Burnett and Dagnino there could have been a lot of fun. And like I said, a palate cleanser. It would have been right after the break. So it would have been like, okay, we're getting into this, and we're not getting into this. This is a nightmare.
Yeah.
What's happening? It would have been the fun of the evening.
It's like when you're at a concert and you have like that band that is kind of just there, like you don't even know their names. They're just playing, and you're kind of like, yeah, they're like
And
the
you're
break in between.
You're drunk enough that they sound awesome.
Yeah. They play like a cover of Oasis Wonderwall, and you're like, all right, this sounds good. I like it. I'm down for that. And then that's it. Then you go back to listen to
Yeah.
Ed Sheeran.
No, what you do is you put that after the Shy Rules match, where it's like, okay, we'll take a shot every time someone gets a question wrong, and you're a little bit buzzed. You're all right. Clark sends you a little bit down, but you're still all right. And then you get to Dagnino and Burnett, and you're on the floor vomiting everywhere, like Zendaya in Euphoria, just gone. And you end the match on like this big revelatory cutscene, and you're just like, "Ugh, what happened?"
Never again. Never again.
I'm just saying if Dagnino Burnett was in the collision, that would clearly be the unanimous winner as the best match at the collision.
Yes.
It's the match of the year so far.
Yeah.
It's Family versus Inky in the Brain, and then Burnett and Dagnino, and there's no competition.
Yeah. Real quick, I want to point out that I asked Frank in the chat if we won the Schmoedown Awards, would we be able to get on the show? And under 70%, and he said 100% on the rundown if we win, except James. So the Call to Asian podcast will be on the rundown as of 2020.
You heard it here first. Call to Asian.
Whoa. What is
coming.
this reverse racism going on, Dylan?
Oh,
Are you
Lord,
hating
James.
on me being
We're
white? How
done.
dare you? That was a joke. That was a joke, people.
Now, Melissa, you're honorary Asians for the sake of this podcast.
I need to be given the Asian card I can just put on so I can get on the show.
Danny got her Asian card. She's cool. Melissa's fine.
We love
James has to work for it. James has to work for it.
Yeah.
You good, Melissa?
Thank you, Frank. We appreciate it.
I can't wait for all the hot takes in that first match of the season. Like, we're coming in, and there are two rookies. What do you think? They're not heels. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's not 2 hours.
There's a Schmoedown match? I don't know. Whatever.
There's an injured guy. Whatever. And I'm just chugging some more wine.
The first 4 episodes of the next season is just us holding the award, which
I mean,
We're gonna mail
come
it
on.
to each other so each of us can hold it every other time.
it has to be like our little flat Stanley we just share with each other.
I would pay a good amount of money for our very first shot of our very next season to be James making out with the award, like with full tongue.
That's some weird kinks you got there, Melissa. Let's save that for
This
for
is the
call to action after hours.
Oh no.
No, so
Yep.
we're gonna start next season like this, and then we drop it, and one of us holds up the award.
Oh my god, if we get the belts before Team Action does.
That's the ultimate heel turn. We just walk on stage like, oh hey Andrew, found the belts. We get little signs each.
You want them?
Do we heel turn the heel side? Just
What's it called when you turn from a heel to even a bigger heel?
I don't know.
It's
John
called
Roca? I don't
Being
know.
amazing.
And your winner, Danielle.
Here's the real
Okay.
quick. We become a face podcast for like
Right.
1 episode, and then it's to have Roca on, and then halfway through we lose the gimmick and we just roast him for the next 20 minutes to see if he stays on.
Okay, wait. To be fair, I mentioned this before. All the belts in an episode where they were Action Army and they got Kalinowski on, and he went heel, and that's what inspired Christian to push that storyline. I would legitimately love if we had a face episode and we had like Rachel Cushing, John Roca, and I don't know who else, Tom Dagnino on, and just were the nicest people on earth.
Oh boy.
Yeah!
What is up, Cat
No,
Podcast?
there it is. Here's your
Put your shirts on, Rich.
Dark
You can't be
Shadow.
on the show.
Wait, this is Dark Shadow 3? Yes.
Jarvie, what time is it where you're at?
It's actually close to 8 a.m., so I'm on my way to work.
Ew.
Wow.
Ooh. Ooh.
Ugh. Yucky.
Also,
I like your outfit.
You look
Sorry?
stunning, and I want to point out this is the first time I've been on the podcast with you, Jarvey.
Scourge,
Yeah,
Scourge
That's
says
true.
full Miley Cyrus recreation with a wedge sword.
Yeah,
I haven't seen Black Mirror.
I haven't caught that episode.
No,
yet.
no, no. You know the MTV award. Like it.
Oh no, no, no! I still get nightmares over that. But also, don't, since it's your first time with Jarvey, you have to take your shirt off. It's the
Hell yeah,
it's-
let's
It's team.
Oh Lord.
yeah.
There's team Olympia.
No, I totally follow you, but I'm on the street.
I told you this has become after hours.
Yeah. I think
Welcome
we
to the
live
Call
stream
to Action
every hour.
podcast.
I have a bad influence on you guys.
Well, guys, I guess.
I mean, burn out, burn out, burn out.
We've officially done the Tits Out for Roxy podcast.
Yeah. Oh man, I should put that in the title.
We're the only podcast willing to go full nude for the awards. You heard it here.
Dylan, when you make the post about it, make sure you put a hashtag Tits Out for Roxy.
Yeah.
Right
We
after
have
hashtag Schmoedown Nashville.
Schmoedown Nashville. Tits out, everybody.
Hashtag Schmoedown Nashville.
Hashtag
Yes.
Schmoedown Nashville.
Which we are going to have happen eventually. November is still free. So Harloff, if you want to spend the most orange and brown month of the summer in the most orange and brown state, go to Nashville. I was trying to make that work and it didn't.
It didn't work at all.
No, it's not orange brown at all.
I mean,
Wait,
guys,
yeah.
it's home of the National Predators.
Christian,
And-
listen to Mark.
And I don't know what
Ellis.
else is there. What is there?
There's good food and good
and bad TV
Entertainment.
shows.
and bad TV shows. Are you talking about Chris Leo's Best?
Oh no, I'm talking about just the show Nashville.
Oh, okay. But yes, there's all sorts of fun stuff, and it's relatively easy to get around as far as traffic, and it's relatively inexpensive in comparison to other cities, and it will bring in all sorts of people from other different states. So just consider
Maybe.
it.
As well as we have Ellis's official endorsement for that. I asked him, and he's like, you know what? I like Nashville. And they're cheap, easy to produce, and they got a nice comedy hut. Why not? So you know what, Harlow? You have to do it now because Ellis said yes.
Been saying it for a whole year now, guys. Let's make it happen.
Listen to Melissa and Dylan, who both have their tits out. Go down Nashville.
I just had to toss my shirt like over now. Just gotta get it off because I'm not putting it back on. I'm going to bed after this because it's midnight my time. Animals, I want to go to sleep.
Okay, wait. So
So, am I catching this on the back end of you guys finishing up?
yeah, we just wrapped up our thoughts on Collision. So you know, when to add
Oh,
your
that's
thoughts,
actually perfect because I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, Charmy. Okay, wait, Charmy. Do you know anything about the results?
Nothing. Zip nada.
Okay, so let's set aside who won for the match
Your
and who's
predictions.
headlining San Diego.
What are your
Who
predictions?
do you want to be the undercard?
So fill me in which match determines what.
Uh,
'cause I'm kind of confused.
Okay, no. So we're saying this goes out to everyone for the San Diego live event in less than a month, because it's still unannounced. Who do you want to be the undercard?
Wait, fill me in. What's the match again? I'm totally
It's
like I just woke up like half an hour ago.
KO against Rachel is the title match.
But he also just said he hasn't seen.
Oh,
the match.
you mean just like the undercard match, just two
Yeah.
players?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, who would you want it to be?
Ooh, good one. I'm gonna finish this when you guys say yours.
Okay.
I need a minute.
I genuinely want Inky in the Brain to have a live show, like or have like a live match, because I like Silvestrini is my favorite person right now because she gave me a hug like out of the studio and she remembers me from
Paul
the
said
interview
same
and that's
thing,
awesome.
By the way.
Hmm?
Paul said the same thing that Silvestrini is one of his favorites now.
Yeah, Silvestrini's amazing. I don't know who I'd put them up against. Kind of Funny could be fun because it's still in California. Maybe late to the party.
Have they
I really
played the
don't know
Wild
who to
Berries
pick for
already?
that. Not yet. I don't think Makuka's in the area, but it could happen. That could be where they debut.
Well, Makuga's suspension is over, so that's a possibility.
Yes. Inky in the Brain and Wild Berries would make me buy 5 tickets.
I'd buy all the T-shirts.
All the T-shirts, all the records. Hashtag face podcast.
No, someone said that you're a faceophobic.
Yeah, that's David. I fight with him a lot because he thinks of being a face is fun and it's not. But so yeah, what do you guys think of the?
I
of
would
undercard?
say, well, for me, it'd be Alex Damon, Sam Whitwer. That would be the dream.
Ooh. Yeah.
Match.
Full nerd on, like title match underneath.
But assuming that wouldn't happen, I think I would like to see. There's two. I'm picking two. One would be Damon versus his wife in Star Wars. I think that could be really cool because we've never seen like spouses. Like,
so you're pitching like a double title or double header rather than an undercard.
Well, I mean, I guess you would call it that.
Okay.
I mean, the Star Wars League under.
I'm just kind of trying to think like Comic-Con.
Yeah.
I have one.
Hit
It's
it.
gonna be totally shocking, guys. This is where we're gonna get that Kevin Smith. We're gonna get the Fat Man on Batman battle. We're gonna get the return of what's his name?
Mark Fernandez.
Yeah, we're gonna get the return of him. And Kevin Smith. He said, Kevin Smith is gonna be at Comic-Con. Why not? Why not?
Can he be in?
That's a legitimate possibility, Danny. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Why the hell not?
Okay.
There's no more movie fights. What else is he gonna do? Schmoedown.
You want him in an
So-
inner geek match, right?
Yeah.
I think Fat Man on Batman versus Inky in the Brain would be an amazing undercard.
So Mark Bernard,
Exactly,
he could be a
because
part of the.
she knows the Kevin Smith movies. Maybe she knows more than Kevin Smith.
She might.
What are you saying?
I feel like he could be a part of James's face faction of like LaShannon Miller, Bibiani. I think Bernardin can be in there.
That would be a good one.
He needs to come back.
So you guys are really close to the right answer. Let me go ahead and break it down for you. It's Cody Hall against Perry. Jurassic
Yes,
Park
Cody.
2.
Cody.
Wait, no.
We just need more
what
Cody.
if you bring back the Wangers or
Young Bucks.
No, Jarvie.
Darby, no!
Like,
Are we gonna
what
make it
if
the
it's Young Bucks versus
Young Bucks
Wild Berries?
reunion? We need Young Bucks return.
Yes. They haven't yet, but I want them to.
We need.
You know who I would love to see get into the league just for like a special Comic-Con thing? Andre Black Nerd.
Oh, he's amazing.
Like,
Yeah.
If we could get him versus Jeremy Johns, that would be a cool undercard.
John versus Stuckman, Inner Geekdom.
Come here.
Like, I would die. Or maybe just regular could be nice. John and Stuckman would be a nice little undercard. Because, so, Stuckman, I think, is the only player besides Tim Franco who's undefeated.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good job, Stuckman.
That's good.
He beat Snyder and then stopped playing.
Can Frank confirm that?
Oh, yeah, Frank says in the chat, are you still here?
Yeah.
Can Frank confirm the 2 matches that Stuckman has played?
Well, he's only played one. He played against Snyder and then
Okay,
nothing else.
one match.
Yeah. Danielle, what do you think for a undercard?
We have Action
No.
Pub. So we have Action
Oh,
Pups
yes.
here.
Action doggy.
Action
He's a
Pups.
mess.
No.
He's a hot
Action
mess.
Dog.
Action doggy. I don't know. I think it would be fun to see an Iron Man match as an undercard. I don't know again who it could be against, but I think an Iron Man match as an undercard would be pretty fun.
So,
Agreed.
what if
Like
we
a
did?
a very small timed one.
Right. Let's do like a 30-minute Iron Man, or maybe 20-minute Iron Man match.
Wait, Eric says Winston versus Zipper. Grudge match.
Oh,
Zipper abandoning him.
Oh.
Oh, we could get them like a Sasuke and Naruto.
Yeah.
Because have them face off. That'd be amazing.
And then just walk him on stage with his shirt off.
Zipper just gets to be awesome. My shirt's still off. Like, it's just thrown over me.
Wait. Oh, The cool guy said Rosie is also undefeated,
Well,
but that's
okay,
only
now,
in singles. Only in singles.
Yeah.
She lost in
She-
a Gita.
I think that Chance probably should have played her instead of Fife, but whatever. But what were we just talking about? Oh yeah, so Winston and Zipper as an undercard would be really interesting. I could see them doing a double Intergeekdom match just because it is Comic-Con,
Yeah.
but man,
I'm telling you, didn't that just blow your mind?
Yeah.
Kevin Smith.
it'd be really interesting. I don't think it would happen because there's two different rankings, and Zipper's actually won a match. But it could be a lot of fun. Maybe just a singles match because that's where they got the start.
Devin is a huge Naruto fan.
Yes.
Naruto is life. Kachi. Best.
Yeah.
How would you guys feel about like an anime slice getting added to the Intergeekdom wheel?
Oh my
We-
god.
I mean, the thing is, we could get like a Studio Ghibli. Slice,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah,
I mean, anime, like, there's anime movies.
right, but none of them really. There's not a lot that really had theatrical release.
Pokemon.
But guys, you would have to include travesties like the Last Airbender movie,
Right.
Dragon Ball Evolution, and I don't think any of us are ready for that.
No.
I mean, Horace Metz has to study like Green Lantern. Do we really want to have him suffer that? I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't want that on my conscience.
Although
I
to
couldn't sleep.
be fair, the Dragon Ball Z Broly movie,
That's good. That
Yeah.
was fantastic.
make that a
That's-
tribute.
That's one of the best movies of the year.
Oh, absolutely.
So
But we're talking about
The live action.
all the live action. We
Which
have
is-
to watch Ghost in the Shell,
so wait,
which was okay.
we're
Yeah.
running a little long, and
Yeah.
before me and Danny take our shirts off, we should probably wrap it up.
All right, guys.
Final thoughts from Ollie before we sign off.
Tits out. Schmoedown Nashville.
Wait, are we allowed to say the T word in front of Melissa? Tatas.
Tea time.
Nashville.
Tatas out.
Tatas.
Is that our
and-
new sign?
I just want to say that I had a
Tatas.
blast watching Collision. It was great watching it with my friends, reacting.
Oh yeah.
That was, I guess it was. What do we say is one of the best live events of the year so far?
Trivia
thought
wise,
it was the best.
the matches were second to
They were
none.
pretty. They were pretty phenomenal. I would
I
have to say.
think without Bibiani being an absolute monster in the free for all, this would be the best live event of the year.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was fun. I liked it. It just seems like these live events and the productions are getting better and better each time. So, yeah, I'm excited for New York. So if anybody's going to New York, I will be there.
Hashtag trying.
Ooh.
Hashtag let's get Danielle to go.
Yes.
Find her hotel.
So I really enjoyed this collision. Like Danny said, the production was great. The music is great. Everyone involved in it is doing such a great job and always has been. Y'all know me. I turned into a Schmoedown shell. So everything is awesome. But I really did 100% love this and thought it was great. I loved all the matches. I loved seeing new competitors coming in and wrecking shop, and I like seeing old competitors coming in and doing what they do. So this was fun. This was great. Hashtag Schmoedown Nashville.
Melissa.
Hashtag Schmoedown Nashville. Thank you for sticking with us for however many hours that were going on.
We're
So,
pushing 2.
We'll wrap up on 2 hours, just about.
oh my gosh, it feels like
That's
about
not too bad.
5. So, anyway, thanks for hanging out with us and had a blast. And
Yeah.
definitely can't wait to go to some live shows, hopefully in hashtag Schmoedown Nashville. But I'm excited for my other peeps to get to see them in New York. So yeah, catch us next time.
Yep. Hashtag Schmoedown Nashville. Love you all. Thank you all for being in the chat, for watching this video. If you've watched it for 2 more hours, that's been like 6 hours of Dylan podcast along
Thumbs
with
up.
all of us. Oh
Thumbs
man,
up.
huge props to you guys for that. I
Thumbs
got
up.
shirtless all the way for this. So yeah, thank you for that. Hopefully, if you see any of us at the live events, New York, Arizona, Orlando, wherever we're at. Come say hi to us. Come talk to us. Oh, man, it was so fun. I would love to do it just right in line. Me and Alex debated it whenever I was in Chicago, just to do an episode right in line, just to be hanging out with people. So if you see us, start talking with us. We love talking with y'all. Y'all are great. Schmoedown Nashville. Wrap it up, James.
Yes. I want to say thank you to everyone in the live chat today, namely Frank Janish, Nerd Chronic, David Spaniard, Eric Frederick, and of course Andrew Markle, aka Scourge77.
Cool guy
You know who
too.
you are.
Cool guy.
Yes, and cool guy as well. He's a new face, and I feel like you could talk to him more.
Yes, and that.
And thank you to Nat and Jari, who both just popped in out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
The Dark Shadow this episode. We love you.
We had 2 Dark Shadows, yes. On social media, where can people find you guys?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at DKPKP. You can also find me on all the Facebook pages, pretty much all the fan groups, bro. I'm always there, lurking somewhere. So check us out. Check out Action Industries. Check out the streams with Ben and Andrew that they've been doing lately. That's been really cool.
200th episode is tomorrow.
And hashtag Schmoedown Nashville. Of course.
Danielle?
You know me. I am at Lady Loston on Twitter, Lady_Loston. You can find me there. You can find me on all of the Facebook pages, all of the fan pages, Action Industry pages. You can find me hanging out in the Patreon, lurking in the Patreon, really. Lurking in most of the live chats also.
Melissa?
Yep. You can find me on the Facebook pages, on the Action Army Facebook page, and also on the Movie Trivia Schmoedown Facebook page with the creepers that I told you guys about earlier. So apparently they're not that bad because I'm still on that Facebook page.
Dylan? Yeah, I got it, man. You can catch me on yeah, you can catch me on Twitter at CAMACH Octopus. Tweet at me some hot takes on what we think matches are going to be on. You can also catch me at the Action Army Podcast, Movie Trivia Schmoedown Facebook group, the Hit Squad Facebook group, the Primetime Facebook group, the Factory Facebook group, the Hitman Facebook group. I'm in all of those, baby. It's all the same crowd. It's all of our best friends. We're all just hanging out in different groups.
We actually have the Dale the Dude fan group. He's there.
What you do?
He said that. He's in that. He's the admin now.
Screw Dale.
God, I think Melissa wants to leave the show now.
Oh my God. Don't even get me started on Dale the Dude. I don't got enough time.
I should be an admin. I was the perfect imitation of him 2 weeks ago.
You can catch me doing terrible Kaiser impressions and random videos. You can catch me being shirtless on this podcast. You can catch me for 6 hours straight if you want to for just the past 2 episodes. I love you all. Schmoedown Nashville. Hashtag. Send it out there. Make it happen. Let's do this live, y'all.
Come on, guys. Let's wish it takes us.
As Kaiser says, smash him. I'm never going to let you live that down, brother.
So
all right,
good.
you can find me on Twitter at Temecula Film Guy. There's at TEMECULA Film Guy. I should shorten that pretty soon. You can find Ben. You can find Ben on Twitter and Instagram at Ben Bateman Media. You can find Andrew Guy on both at That's Andrew Guy. You can find them both on Patreon. Please support that. Get on Action Movie Anatomy tomorrow. It is a 200th show. They'll be doing another episode of Warrior, one of the greatest, if not the greatest sports movie of all time. In fact, it is. Suck it, Rocky. You can also find them on the Action Guys every Friday and Monday, or Tuesday. No, on every Friday and Tuesday, depending on if you're a patron, or you can catch it on the Action Industries channel, which I work for, as well as Alex, who is on a break, having a wonderful time getting pictures in Scotland or wherever.
Ireland.
They're all the same to me.
Ireland.
Don't tell Devon. And you can. I'm trying to do a T, but my hand is fucked, so I can't get my pinky all the way up.
I thought you were looking.
My dog's trying to go outside right now. I don't know if you can hear him, but he is banging on things.
I'll wrap it up really quick. You can find us wherever you want. Look at our earlier episode. We don't care. We've gone on for way too long. Collision was amazing. I am so happy I got to be invited. Thank you. I'm not sure if I can say who invited me, but thank you to the person who invited me, and I hope I can return. hopefully the rest of us can return, and hopefully we can cause chaos when we win the Schmoedown After Show of the Year award come January.
And then Total becomes Shrill. Total becomes Shills and so
we'll be shill fit. We'll be
just
shill
like
sellouts,
just
become a
like
face
our
podcast
favorite
about
movie in the
America.
whole world, Scott Pilgrim.
Yes.
We're here
And
to sell out and Schmoedown and stuff.
And on that note, us Black Sheep will be signing out. Peace out.
Bye.